Hello there and welcome back to the Cardiff Met University Experiment for Europe, or whatever it's called. I've forgotten now. Where we get Cardiff Metropolitan to win the Champions League. They've actually got close to winning the Europa League, all the way to the final, losing out to Liverpool, unfortunately. Which is so close. But Wales have moved up in the world. The league is now 46th. So the 46th, it's gone from 120th to 46th in 7 years. So we're actually now going to go forward another 5 years, and hopefully they've at least won the Europa League. Yeah, because they really are. They're keeping this 4-star reputation. It dropped to 8,000, and they've sort of stuck there now. And they've got some great players: Jonathan Tah, Ben Woodburn, Richard Lee, Bazoa, and they've got a really good youth facility, and they're really getting some really good talent out. And they've got a 21,000-seater stadium. The Welsh League is 90% professional now. There's only like 2 or 3 semi-pro teams left, so the league is going to get more and more competitive, I feel, as it gets closer. But I still feel Cardiff Metropolitan University are the only ones who are going to be doing well in Europe. It's going to be like the Scottish League. Cardiff Met will be Celtic, and everybody else is just going to be shit. But enough speculating, let's see what happens. And here we are in the year 2030, and as you can see, we're actually on the season we left them on, where they walked the league, walked the Welsh Cup, sort of easy going. So let's see how they did in the first season after that. So, won in the third qualifying, and they went in the playoffs. No, they went into the Europa League group stages. So that's a poor start so far. They went to the Europa League group stages where they had Sparta Prague, Lech Poznan, and Wolfsburg. So 2 wins and a draw in the first half of it. And in the second half, beat Wolfsburg, beat Sparta Prague, and they beat Lech Poznan. And then they got Lazio in the first knockout round, which they went through on away goals, so kind of lucky there. Drawing 0-0 at the King Code campus. And then managed to turn around a 2-1 deficit against Shakhtar Donetsk to win 2-0 at home. They actually didn't sell that out, 28,000, so I suppose that was probably the away fans not turning up, I suppose. Quarterfinals, Olympique Lyon, beating them, drawing 2-2 in the first leg away from home at the Parc Olympique Lyon, and then winning 2-0 at home at the King Code campus. And then they managed to beat Borussia Mönchengladbach 3-1 at Borussia Park, and then 3-2 at the King Code campus. And then they lost to Tottenham Hotspur in the final. Oh, they always get the English teams in the final, and they always have someone sent off. This happened against Liverpool. They had a player sent off. They can't deal with pressure. That seems to be the issue. But here's another issue. There was 10 games between them playing the Welsh Cup final and then playing Tottenham Hotspur. If they hadn't got into the Welsh Cup final, it would have been 13 days. So they have quite a long gap in between matches, and that can really kill you sometimes. So let's go to the season after that then. Let's see if they can match a Europa League final. Winning West Friendly, actually drawing with Arsenal. That is really impressive. Okay, so they now actually go straight into the group stage. They don't even need to qualify. So at this point they've got quite a good coefficient, I assume. And they had Basel, who they beat 3-1. Juventus, who they drew 0-0 with. And Arsenal, who they actually beat 1-0. But as you can see here, they actually lost to Llandudno 2-1. That is really weird. I don't think I've ever seen them lose in the league since the first season, since they got all the positive stuff. They then drew with Arsenal, beat Basel. Have I missed one of them? drew with Arsenal. Blah, blah, blah. Oh yeah, and they lost to Juventus. So that means that they must have finished second or maybe first in that group, surely. No, they finished third. How the hell? What? 2 draws, 3 wins, and a loss, and you're third? Jesus, that was a tough group then. And they had Dynamo in the Europa League, and they went out on away goals. Oh no, did they go through on away goals or out? I think they went out on away goals. Oh, that's so unlucky. Yeah, so they lost 2-0 at Dynamo, and then they won 3-1 at home, but it was not enough because of the away goals rule. That's unfair. And then because of that, their coefficient dropped, I assume, and they had to do qualifying again. Third qualifying round, leg 1, they had Trenčín, who they beat 3-0 and then 2-1, and then they had Apoel Limassol, is it? No, Nicosia. Apoel Nicosia from Cyprus, who they beat 4-0 and then 3-1 in Cyprus. Going into the Champions League, where they had Red Bull Salzburg, who they beat 3-0. Arsenal again, this time losing 2-0, and Juventus again, 0-0. They're getting some tough groups, I'm going to say that much. Then they drew 2-2 with Juventus, beat Red Bull Salzburg 3-0, and then lost to Arsenal 3-0 at the Emirates. And that puts them into the Europa League, where they drew 2-2 with Ajax, and then lost 3-0 at home. Not going great so far. So far, they've not got out of the Champions League group stages, always finishing third. And then, yeah, they've gone out in the first knockout round 2 years in a row. And they're back. They're still having to qualify, where they beat Coburg 4-0 and then 2-0 in, I think it's Azerbaijan. Is it Azerbaijan? I think it's Azerbaijan. When you had to play FCSB, I've never heard of them before. 5-0 and then 2-0. Olympiacos in their group, and they beat them 3-1. Then they lost 2-1 to Borussia Dortmund, and they beat Porto 3-1. Before Porto 3-1 again, beat Olympiacos 1-0, and then actually drew with Borussia Dortmund. So if they haven't got into the Champions League knockout stage this time, Jesus, they just have no luck, because they're doing quite well in their groups. Yeah, they're getting 8-9 points. That's normally enough to finish second in your group, but they're just not getting it. They had Valencia, they lost 1-0, and then they drew 1-1, and got knocked out of the Champions League this time. So they're still having to... They're now... Oh my god, they dropped down to the second qualifying round there. So they're not getting far enough in European competitions anymore. And I suppose all the other Welsh teams are going out really early in the qualifying rounds. So the coefficient, it must have at one point just been dropping rapidly for them to be able to play more and more games to get to the group stages. So in the second qualifying round, they beat Dilla 4-0 and then 3-0. Videoton 4-0 and 2-0. FCSB again 2-0 and 1-0. So they're just sort of walking these qualifying stages at this point. They got Celtic in the group, they beat 2-0. They then lost to Chelsea 1-0 and PSG 3-0. But they then beat PSG in Wales 2-1. And then they beat Celtic 2-1 and Chelsea 1-0 at Stamford Bridge as well. They had Liverpool, who they lost 2-1 and then 4-1 to. Ooh. They must not like Liverpool. Liverpool beat them in their first ever Europa League final. And then, just kind of beating them again in the Champions League. They can't get past the first knockout round. They have really bad luck in the Champions League so far. As you know, their profile, Wayne Allison is still manager. Still amateur as well. Earning no money. His stats have definitely gone up. He's now got a 3-star reputation, which makes me wonder, why has nobody come in for him? Like, surely someone would go, 3-star manager, won't cost us any money, let's take him. I suppose not. I suppose that might be a broken thing in the game. An amateur manager becoming this good. As you can see, Wayne Allison is now a legend at the club. Still got a lot of favoured personnel, but somehow still only have 27 season ticket holders, even though they're constantly selling out their stadium, and they're actually worth £1 billion now. So that's amazing. Their stadium is now a 30,000 all-seater, but they're actually due to move into the 140,000 capacity Allison Park, named after their amateur manager, in literally by the end of this month. So, and they got a 5-year stadium sponsorship deal at $2.62 million per season, which will end in 2 years. They do have undersoil heating at the King Code campus. I don't know what's going to happen to that. That might stay as their reserve youth and training ground. So that would be interesting to see. If we go to their transfers, go back. So that's the year we left. They brought in Marko Grujic and Harry Winks and all that. So the first season, they brought in Jean-Jacques Traoré, Lewis Cook, Jack Moore, Roland Presland, Will Hughes, Mark Jobling, and Custodio Miguel, which is an amazing name. He's now at Wolfsburg. Decent little regen. I wonder how much money they made off of him. They brought him in for free, and they sold him for 2.4 million. He's now worth 16.7. So that's a bad bit of business, I would say. They're now actually selling players for quite a bit as well. Raul Guillaume going to Man United for up to 15.5. Richard Lee Bezoa going to Olympique Marseille for up to 14.75. Gordon Rave up to 5.75. They're now actually managing to sell players as well for quite a bit of money. Next season, Ben Chilwell, who is a really decent player if you can get him. I recommend it. For up to 28.5. Lucas from Guangzhou Evergrande for 23 million. Ethan Hegarty from Crystal Palace. I guess is that regen? Yeah, Scottish regen. Decent player. Pierre-Emile Højbjerg from Southampton. Tyrone Mings on a free. He is now a director of football at nowhere. Decent director of football though for a lower league team. A lot of players retiring. Who actually didn't get any roles anywhere. Sold Roland Presland to Liverpool for up to 21.5. How much are they bringing him in for the year before? Wow, they're selling players the next season for less money. That makes no sense to me. Like, I know they're in a lower league, but they're bringing him in for 25. You would think the manager would go, we want at least 25. I suppose not. So they're getting some decent money now, even if they aren't getting much for that. Sebastian Rosler, 15.25. Godfred Donser from Guangzhou Evergrande for up to 9.5. Helder Costa from Wolverhampton Wanderers on a free. He's now at Hull. Interesting. The Ox went on a free transfer. He's now a manager in charge of nobody. Ben Woodburn actually left and is now at West Ham United. I don't know why they got rid of him for free. He was really good. 120 appearances, 80 goals. Why would you release him? Look at the average ratings for him here. Brought him in for 25, let him go for free. That's insane. That is insane. 8.1, 7.67, 7.67, 7.41, 7.48, 7.36, 7.86. Sorry for free to West. Then went to West Ham. 6.9, 6.8, 6.77. I should have kept him. He was a really good player. They're actually now selling players to other Welsh teams. It's only worth £230, mind. Not even playing for Airbus. Tyrone Mings, they actually made a profit on a player. Tyrone Mings to Rangers for 26k. There you go. They're now spending up to £58 million on players, which is insane. Eric Dyer still at the club though. It's decent. So how good is this player? £58 million worth. It's only worth 16.25 here. 4 caps for England. Yeah, I mean he's all right. I don't know if he's worth up to 58 million, mind. That's just me. Although I suppose 34 and 37 for a striker is a pretty impressive strike rate. Yeah, getting some decent money for some players. So up to 29.5 for Sebastian Rosler. 15.25 for Lucas. Held cost around a free a year after they brought him in. Tom Giggs to Kanu Eli. So there you go. And then this is the current season. Patrick Walter from Tottenham Hotspur for up to 77. They are getting quite crazy with the transfers. They kind of do want to clearly improve in Europe, but I kind of feel that with Alisson in charge, they're not really going to do it, unfortunately. So Pierre-Emile Højbjerg went to Hebei China Fortune, so that's cool. He didn't really sell many players this year. So as you can see, they've won it every year. They're winning that every year. They're just winning everything, basically. Runners up twice in the Europa League. Yeah, that is... They're just kind of dominating everything, it feels. But they've had Alisson in charge now for 13 years, 328 days. He's won 621, drew 50 and lost 57. You'd think someone would come in for that. He's won 13 leagues and 34 cups. Surely someone would come in for an amateur manager like that. Yeah? He's won the Manager of the Year on 13 occasions. 13 occasions! Someone buy him. Take him away. So now look at the Welsh Premier League. See what's happening here. Okay, so it's actually been rising. It's actually now above Scotland as well. So that's good to see. It now is the second best league in the UK, and it's just as uncompetitive. Because if we go on this, I bet you Celtic have won it every year. Celtic have won it every year. So it is basically the Scottish League repeating itself. Although, because it's not loaded, I couldn't tell you if they've won it, if they've gone undefeated every year. But Cardiff Met pretty much have. 32 wins, no draws, no losses, 110 goal difference. That is what that is. They conceded 3 goals all season in the league. There you go. Let's see. Professional. Yeah, they're all professional now, so that's a positive to see. So it is now a completely professional league. What are the rules? Yeah, second qualifying round is really weird. I feel like that should be higher. If we go to the Croatian league and go to you can't do the rules on this. I can't see. Okay. So I'm going to see the rules to see how many they've got being 2 ahead. I mean, maybe if Wales break into the top 20, they'll start, improving. But I feel like that. Normally, I feel like the Scottish Premiership starts about 15, so that's dropped 10 places. This has risen 100 in the same time. As you can see, it's basically Cardiff Met players sort of dominating everything except player of the match. This Aaron Carpenter, worth 3 million on loan from Leicester at Connors Quay. Decent. Clean sheets, 27 clean sheets for Vlado Saric. 99 caps for Croatia, so he's clearly Croatia's #1 goalkeeper, playing in Wales for Cardiff Met Uni. And yellow cards, yeah, they're not there. For injuries, they've got no injuries, so there you go, no problems. Award winner. So if we go Manager of the Year, yeah, so it's first one by Ian Dawes, who is now no longer in the game at all. And Wayne Allison has won it every single year. And if you look at that win rate, it's 196, 96, 93, 96, 96. It's 100 again. You know what I mean? Like 3 goals conceded, 8 goals, 5 goals. It's yeah. it's just kind of domination. That's all it is. So they're about to move into a 140,000 seater stadium, and no one else has done anything to theirs, because they probably, even though a lot of them are now 2.5-star reputation playing in a 3-star league, 735, they're still not, even their maximum club attendance doesn't seem like it's going to fill the stadium, does it? No, it doesn't. They're still 300 short of maximum club attendance of filling the stadium, which is ridiculous. You would think, it would increase. The league is now 21st. Teams like, you look at Bangor, they are now, they're, for the last couple of years, since 2024-25, so when we left, the last 5 years we simmed, they have just kind of become the second team almost in the game. Look at Connah's Quay as well. Look, they're the Aberdeen of this league now. Connah's Quay. They are always up there, in the top 5 of the league. They're always, look like they might make a challenge, but because Cardiff Met University is just too good, they're just too good. Bala as well, always up there. TNS have really dropped off. So this is where it started. That was the last league they've won. Then they were second, fourth, third, fifth, 6th. And they were 5th again this year. How many managers have they gone through? 2. Craig Harrison, who they sacked, he's now in charge of Celtic. Holy crap. He went from TNS to Celtic. So he wasn't sacked, he left the manager's role to go to... That's amazing. And they brought in Andrew Dyer, who was the manager of Bala at the time. He's still got his job. He's been there 8 years now. How good is Craig Harrison? He's alright, I suppose. I suppose in Celtic it's quite easy. You just do your job, don't you? You just go play football, and they win. Which is why I feel Wayne Allison still has his job. He just signs really good players for an inordinate amount of money, and sticks on 877k per month contracts, and job done. And this is their hottest young prospect. He's worth 4.5 at 20 years of age. He's already reached his max though. He's not going to improve anymore. So having him as your hot prospect seems a bit odd. I suppose other than that, there's not much else to look at. If there is anything else you would like to look at in the next video, because we're going to be going 10 years forward to the year 2040, which hopefully Allison would have retired, and you can see who they can bring in. Because that might be the next step, I feel, in going forward. Because I feel with Allison, they're just going to kind of stagnate at that point. They're always going to get beaten by the Valencias and the, bigger teams, I suppose. Although Valencia aren't really a big team. They're beating Lazio and teams like that, but I don't know. So yeah, tell me what else you'd like me to see in the final video, which will be up on Wednesday, in the comments, and I will see you later. Bye.